Hello, everyone. It's JVL from the Bulwark here with my best friend, Sarah Longwell. Sarah, tell our friends at Rand McNally to get their erasers out. It's now the Gulf of America.
Can he just change the names of stuff? Wait till he finds out that we have a New Mexico.
Oh, boy, he's going to be very unhappy
There's a
with
whole
that.
state called New Mexico. What are you going to call it? Old America?
Oh. So there's some serious things to talk about, and we'll talk about them after we talk about the dumbest things. And the two dumbest things are that today Donald Trump proposed, and this is a hand to God, this is a real thing. This isn't, when I first saw this, I thought, oh, somebody's doing one of those things where they hack together to make it a fake tweet to make it look like a real, but no, this is real. The incoming president of the United States wants to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. And also is talking about using economic pressure to turn Canada into a state, while his son took a plane to Greenland with potato-faced Charlie Kirk to do, I guess, a fact-finding mission to see just how badly everybody in Greenland wants to become a U.S. territory. I don't... Sarah, this is the world we live in again. We're going to wake up to this every day.
Every day. Why does he want Greenland so much? I don't understand. This is one of those things where last time this happened, it was just a joke. And we talked about it for a while. Like, he proposed it. We all made fun of it. It went away. But it was like it was one of all the repeat tracks it was like an early one. Like, he just seems really devoted to the idea of buying Greenland. Why do we want Greenland? Like, explain to me, like I'm 5, the geopolitical opportunities that come with Greenland.
None. There aren't any. I think one of two things is possible. One of three things is possible. First, he doesn't mean this either. It's just he is worried that maybe the news cycle is a little slow. People are talking about Jimmy Carter laying in state and just like, talk about me.
Sure.
Two, and also that this is free. It's absolutely free for him, right? There's no penalty for saying stupid stuff like this. Nobody's going to then come after him if he doesn't annex Greenland. You just get to say things. You can be the incoming president of the United States and just get to say stuff. Two, it is possible that somebody who is in his ear has a bugaboo about this and has just like come back to it over and over again. Like, maybe Stephen Miller has a Greenland fetish or something. I don't know. Maybe the human printer lady, maybe she just has a real thing for Greenland. And, when she has said it to him, he's like, yeah, okay, sounds good. Three, and I am really loath to ascribe serious motives to it, but maybe he's thinking about his legacy. And he wants to be a president who expands the actual territory of these United States of America, because he's fixing to get his name on a dollar bill someday or something. And, you could see in a way, like, the kind of guy, Donnie from Queens, is a real estate developer, like, oh, we get more real estate. They're not making any more land. If we could get us some more real estate, that'd be a valuable thing for America. I don't know. It's one of those three.
But, like, is it rich in some kind of natural resource that we want? Is it just because it's a territory and it would be the kind of thing we could just grab? Like, why? Why is Trump, and why is Don Jr. there? Because I'll just say, Donald Trump, he said, for purposes of national security and freedom, are they a threat to us?
No, to the extent that there is a
hurting Denmark very
NatSec
badly because they're losing almost $700 million a year carrying it. So do we need to help Denmark? I mean, I am sorry. I am very unfamiliar with the politics of the region because the politics of Denmark and Greenland have not been relevant or germane to anything in a while. But I'm just...
So somebody could make an argument that, it's useful to have a base there as a jumping off point for helping control the North Atlantic sea routes. which, okay, we already have ships there though. And
Because
also,
I assume we have like decent relationships with Greenland. It's not like they are refusing to let us.
no. But the other problem is like America's now on the side of Russia, which is the only country who we would be threatened by from. So again, like if we're all about a pivot to Asia and really confronting China, like why would we spend resources trying to shore up the North Atlantic? None of it. And the answer is none of it makes any sense. It doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
But it makes more sense than the Canada stuff.
So
Can you explain that to me?
well, here's the thing. So Canada's lovely. It has lovely people.
Sure.
Its leader is stepping down. I know so little about Justin Trudeau other than, he's a handsome devil who appears to be doing the correct thing for his political party, realizing that he is putting their viability in peril, which in a timely way, in a way that allows them to choose a new leader and protect the party going into, holding another vote. I'd love to. We could have used a little more of that this time around. But like other than that, I guess that they have Canada. They're just a big place that speaks a couple different language and lives in the United States' economic slipstream. Like what do we want? And actually, maybe
Also,
that was
how does it work? How does that work?
But like, because it's already kind of like us. Like, but I don't know. I'm not saying we don't want it because there's anything wrong with it. Like Canada's lovely. Mounties are cool. The accents are cool. There's a lot to like about it. I think the people are nice. They're very polite. But like, do we need Canada? Do they need us? What's the point?
And again, I just go back to the logistics. When's the last time two countries merged? It was probably the reunification of East and West Germany, right? And that was because you had an existing country that had been artificially partitioned. That doesn't exist here. And there is I just can't think of a precedent in which a sovereign nation just decides it's going to allow itself to be folded into another sovereign nation and like, oh, okay. So, and as David Frum said to Tim yesterday, so how many senators would Canada get? Because it's got like 40 million people. It's an enormous territory. We're going to hold them to 2 senators? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me, right? Canada's a single state.
We should get Canada. Actually, now that I've thought about it for 5 minutes, why would Republicans support the idea of us picking up Canada? Canada is more liberal. This is like your idea of making Puerto Rico and Washington, D.C. all states. Like if we got the 40 million Canadians, we would immediately become nicer. We would immediately become probably more liberal. Like Democrats would have a better shot. Why? Actually, the more I think about it, this is a good idea.
I think the support for single-payer healthcare in America would shoot through the roof all of a sudden by adding 40 million Canadians to the pie, right? But again, this isn't a thing that's going to happen. This is just a thing that he talks about, and he gets to talk about it for free in a way that if Joe Biden had gone on about, I'm going to use economic pressure to turn Canada into a state, the New York Times would have been calling for his removal from office because he was mentally unfit every day for months, right? But this is all just baked in. Yeah, that's Trump. That's just, he's a scamp. That's just Trump being Trump. And then we had Facebook this morning. Did you see the Facebook thing?
Yeah, I saw the Facebook thing. I read your triad.
Hey, look at that. Ding, ding, ding. What are your thoughts?
But yeah, I saw Zuck out there bending the knee. Here, I mean, look, I think this is actually pretty straightforward. The all of them, whether it's Zuck or Elon or Bezos, like this part actually isn't that complicated. These are business guys who understand transactionalism. Mm-hmm. They have decided, and this is where this is worth you and I picking through. I thought about this a lot over the break, that the reason that Trump and Jason Miller was kind of hurling this at me at that Deal Book thing was saying, that Donald Trump just won the popular vote, right?
Is that important now? I was assured that it was unimportant for years.
Yes. But they feel like Trump is on the right side of the public. Now, if not by a big margin, at least a slim margin. And imagine trying to negotiate, right? So like they've been dealing with liberals, Democrats now for years and trying to satisfy people. And they feel like, well, look, we're never going to satisfy these people. But Trump, and because the right, remember, they've been coming for these social media companies for a long time, members of Congress forever. But they know, we don't have to convince all of these Republican voters. We don't have to convince senators. We don't have to convince congressmen. We got to convince this one guy that we're his friend, and he'll make sure all of those people fall in line. Look how easy that is. We gave him $1 million for his inauguration. We don't endorse his opponent in our newspapers. We don't fact check the.
We move our operations to Texas.
We move our operations to Texas.
There are only unbiased people in Texas, and all of the people in California are biased.
We put Dana White, the head of the UFC, who has no qualifications whatsoever, on our board. And just to add to the ranks of abusers, Dana White, famous, slapper of his wife. Okay, so he has no qualifications other than being Donald Trump's good buddy. Put him on the meta board, and now Trump is our friend. Trump went from threatening to put Zuck in jail, right? Which Zuck, I guess, probably worries about.
Yeah,
and then and now Zuckerberg can be his pal. And that's it. And then everybody falls in line. See how easy that is for them? And so it is not irrational for them as stewards of their businesses to say, I see an easy path to get, because people are talking about the Washington Post. People don't understand. For Bezos, the Washington Post is like a toy, like a vanity project.
Yes.
And it's not, he wants to build his like moonshot thing, right? And they all need the government's help to do that. What is it? He's trying to go to space too. They all want to go to space now. And so, what's it called? Blue something?
Blue Origin. It's the giant
Blue
pee-pee
Origin.
rocket.
Yeah.
Remember? Yeah.
I can't tell the different penis-shaped rockets apart. And so, anyway, I just that one is simple. Like that is just a what's the thing? The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line. And like, who needs all the lobbyists on K Street? Who needs to curry favor with all the individual senators? Just get Trump to say, you're a good guy and you're my friend. And then you've got it made.
Except for two things. Mm-hmm. Why aren't they worried about retaliation from Democrats when the Democrats return to power? Because if you're suddenly currying favor and doing all the things that Donald Trump wants you to do, then shouldn't you assume when the Democrats return to power that they're going to come after you hammer and tongs because you're a bad guy?
Well,
no.
I mean, the Democrats. So first of all, I think that, don't hold me to this. I'm going to play my secret podcast rules. I do think part of it is that they do feel under pressure from Democrats, right? Democrats are the ones who've been pushing sort of fact-checking, content restrictions. And so it's not that, but they just say, well, we can get around all these things Democrats have been trying to push on us, right? And just go with Trump, right? That's a better path. Now, they used to be aligned. They used to be aligned with Democrats more. And so they did these things to appease Democrats. But now they feel, I think they would say, right, Elon turned on Democrats because he felt like Democrats turned on him. And same with Zuckerberg. They feel like Democrats are the ones out there, pushing the different content moderation and trying to tell them to be better people and employ people in certain ways.
Talking about antitrust.
They don't have to do any of it. Yeah, talking about antitrust. And they're like, we can bypass all of that just with Trump. So I don't think that they don't feel like there's any pushback from Democrats, but they feel like Trump is actually a better path for them because as long as they suck up to him, they can get whatever they want. Also, Democrats don't say, I will punish my enemies when I get into office.
Well, isn't that a problem, though?
I'm not going to have this fight with you. No,
I
it's
just
not.
mean, I'm not saying whether it's good or bad. Put the absolute value signs around it, right? Value neutral. Isn't it a problem if one side is able to co-opt the levers of civil society through threats and intimidation, and the other side is not, because it doesn't do threats and intimidation? Because then what you wind up having is you have all of these people in the middle, like the Mark Zuckerbergs of the world, the Jeff Bezos of the world, who, if everything was samesies, would be totally out of this stuff, right? They would say, no, we're not taking sides in this. We're not going to do this. Or maybe they would say, the health of my company depends on there being a stable business environment and ironclad rule of law. And so I'm going to be on the side of the people who are for the rule of law. But instead, they're forced over into the authoritarian camp because the authoritarians are willing to threaten them and the good guys aren't.
Yeah, but don't put me in a position of having to defend them because I think that what Zuckerberg is doing is 100% straightforward capitulation. But like, there's a lot of people moving their tech companies from California to Texas because Texas is run not that well. The taxes are extremely high. It is the property is so expensive that the workers can't live there. Like, so much about it has become impossible. And so I think that there is, this is not just like a brand new thing. Tech companies move. Like Texas has been undergoing. In fact, one of the reasons that Texas has been sort of getting Democrats more and more think, oh, maybe we could make a play in Texas is because there's been so much movement from California to places like Texas and Colorado. That's a fact. And so, like, you know, Texas has a more hospitable business environment overall.
I mean, sure. But also, I mean,
I know,
come
like,
on.
there's a reason he's doing this, right?
So I wrote about this. This is, you know, so Elon Musk gets his panties in a twist because Joe Biden didn't invite him to a photo op at the White House. And he decides he's going to go off and buy Twitter and then turn Twitter into a weapon to use against Biden and Harris, the Democratic Party. Why wouldn't Mark Zuckerberg do the same? He's worth $209 billion. Why, when he is threatened by Donald Trump, isn't his response, you want to pick a fight with me? I own Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. I'm worth $209 billion. I could make your life a living hell. If I decide to tweak my algorithms the way that Elon does his, but in the opposite direction, I'm going to drive your approval rating down to 35%, Mr. President. You back the fuck off. What? Like, what's the point of being worth $209 billion and controlling these platforms if your response in the face of a threat to your business and yourself is to say, well, there's nothing I can do. I don't have anything at my disposal. I'm just as helpless as a little lamb. By the way,
You have to want to fight.
breaking news.
You have to, like, yeah, what?
In his little announcement about the end of the fact checking and the moving things, whatever, Mark Zuckerberg was wearing a Grubel Forsey watch. I'm a watch nerd, which retails for $900,000. So, you know,
That's
man
not
of the
breaking
people
news.
who wants everybody to get back to their roots of civic content.
See, this is the part. This
watch.
is the part that's ridiculous, right? That if he wants to say we're going to Texas, more hospitable political environment, and I'm not trying to fight Trump, because look, Trump could. Like, you're right that Zuckerberg has real levers at his disposal, and so does Bezos, and but like, there is a path of least resistance, a very obvious path that is cheaper, less of a hassle, and better for their businesses, without a doubt. And so, like, he would have to be driven by principle. He'd have to feel a moral obligation. And I think that part of what's really annoying is that Zuckerberg, throughout the time that he has run Facebook, is he has tried to gloss up everything under the valence of something that is moral, that is about connecting people, that is about humans and their, highest ambitions. And like, it's all craven. But like the sickest part is this free speech stuff. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Trump is suing Ann Selzer for a poll. Okay? There is no Trump is the least free speech person. Like, Elon is not a free speech. So they hide behind their commitment to free speech, which basically means free speech for me and not for thee.
Yeah.
I mean, Elon is shutting down anyone who criticizes him on the platform. I mean, it's just absurd. And for them to echo this idea that Donald Trump is the free speech president, that's the part that's disgusting.
It's fully Orwellian, right? I mean, this is all Orwell. It's all Orwell.
I can't believe I have to go read Orwell again. I did the first time. But like, even yesterday, I haven't talked much about January 6th, but like, Orwell has this quotation about, it's like they told the lie and then the lie became the truth and then nobody remembered, the thing to begin with. I can't remember what the quotation is, but it's just like January 6th. It was like everyone knew it was bad. I reposted this Eric Erickson thing from the day, and Kinzinger was out there, posting all of these Republicans and what they said that day. And, Erickson was like, shoot the protesters, waive the rules, impeach right now. And what's interesting about looking at people's responses on the day is that they knew how wrong it was at the time. And then sort of brick by brick, they built a new narrative, a new lie in order to get on side with Trump. And when they realized that people were kind of like, because, you throw so much crap at people. It's Antifa. It's Black Lives Matter. What about the Black Lives Matter protests? And so at some point now, like, there's been full on erasure of the day in a way that is, but like, I don't know, Barry Rubin over here, he was there with a camera that day and he was going through his old footage and I was looking at it and like, it is like full on militia stuff. The idea that it was grandmothers, it's a bunch of guys talking about like, we need to be on rotation. They're throwing things at the cops. They're attacking them with flagpoles. And like, none of them were Antifa. None of them were the FBI. Like, that stuff is all lies.
Yeah. And, I got to say, the video that Barry has, you should check it out. Check it out over at thebulwark.com. I mean, and these guys really look like the best and brightest of people. I can see why we need more H-1B visas, because these people are not capable of becoming our best coders and software engineers. They're a bunch of mouth-breathing idiots.
The election was stolen by Russian communists. And I mean, just the nonsense. Yeah. But can I actually, now we're deep into it.
Go ahead. We're 23 minutes deep. Let's go.
People, we focus on the insurrection. Like, we focus on January 6th. And you love to sort of condemn these people as mouth breathers and
I do.
stuff.
That's true.
And I got to say, my great antipathy continues to reside with the people who told them lies. Like, they are repeating back stuff that they heard on Fox News. They're talking about the voting machines were flipped. Okay, well, there were lawyers and politicians, the Kraken lady. They were all on Fox News every day talking about Venezuela and Hugo Chavez's ghost and the Smartomatic machines. And hey, listen, you can say Donald Trump every day gave voice to the lie on the biggest platform. The president of the United States, lots of people trust him. And you know what? And every other Republican politician, Kevin McCarthy. This is when I hit Kevin at that DealBook thing. I was like, he's like, well, people believe this. And I'm like, because you lie to them. You lie to them. And they're not watching CNN. And they're not watching MSNBC. And they're not like, all these people that I trust, I think could be lying to me. So I'm going to go check it out.
This is our age-old debate.
It is.
Because I understand what you're saying. But on the other hand, I heard all those things too. I heard them contemporaneously. I've seen the Fox News clips. I listened to the Kraken lady. And if somebody comes to me and says 1 + 1 = 17, I as a normal human being with like average cognitive abilities am able to say, no, that's not true. 1 plus 1 does not equal 17. And so to take the position these people have to believe these things being told to them by the TV ladies or something is deeply paternalistic. And I'm okay with that. Like if we're just going to say it out, like, yes, these people are too stupid to live. Take that out. These people are too stupid to make their way in the world without being guided by their betters. Okay, then that's fine. But instead we do this weird thing where we're like, these people are salt of the earth, really great, super capable, very intelligent, absolutely capable of making great decisions. They just couldn't do it with this one thing because they were lied to.
That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying. Right. I'm saying the people are impressionable and that they don't know all the ins and outs of government and that I'm not sure.
It's not hard. You know, it's not hard. You don't need a PhD to know that Hugo Chavez's ghost was not doing bamboo
but
ballots.
that's me being glib, right? Like they were being told, they don't understand how you and I don't know how a voting machine works. Okay? We just don't. We don't know the actual mechanics of it. And so a bunch of people come on that you trust and they tell you, yeah, these are being flipped. These were being changed. And here's a bunch of data from the States. Here's a bunch of previous voting things and blah, 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 blah. It's harder than you think, and I have more sympathy for them than you do.
Don't.
I have no sympathy for the people who were doing the lying to them. They attacked the Capitol that day. Listening to them, when you watch this footage, it is wild. These guys are like embracing each other, being like, "Yeah, man, God bless America." Like there's there's this sincerity to it, in that they think they're doing the right thing. And listen, man, terrorists think they're doing the right thing. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be held accountable for what they did. They're responsible for their actions. But people who know better, people who know they are lying, were lying to them.
Sure. And those people are worse. But just because they're worse doesn't absolve these other idiots. And I don't know how, there are plenty of things in the world that we interact with every day that I don't know how they work. I could not tell you exactly how an internal combustion engine works. Like I know vaguely how, like you have the ignition chamber and this poses the camshaft. Like, sure, I could draw you a base diagram, but I couldn't really explain it to you in a way that a 5-year-old could understand. And yet, if you came to me and said, "Hey, your car, it's powered by magic," I would be able to say, "No, that's not true." We are not helpless children. We are responsible for our choices and responsible for our actions. And if we're not, if these people aren't responsible for their choices and they couldn't possibly have helped it, then they have no business participating in American democracy. But I expect better of them. Buddy.
I got bad news for you, because that is American democracy is what we are experiencing. We are getting it good and hard.
That's right. Good luck, America.